Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to break down a skill that every single business owner has to master: buying. I know it might sound simple, right? But honestly, doing it well, that can be the real difference between just struggling to get by and really succeeding. So let's kick things off with what is probably the most crucial takeaway of this whole thing. This quote, it really says it all. How well you sell depends on how well you buy. Just think about that for a second. Your profits, your reputation with customers, everything starts with this. You could say that smart buying is really the foundation of your entire business. Okay, so how do we actually do that? Well, here's the game plan for today. We're going to start with something called the 4 rights of buying. Then we'll look at what your business actually buys. From there, we'll get into the nitty-gritty of finding the best suppliers, placing a smart order, and then the critical final steps. I promise by the end of this, you are going to have a super clear framework to buy with total confidence. All right, let's dive right in with section 1, the 4 rights of buying. Now, think of these as the fundamental rules, the bedrock principles that should guide every single purchase you make for your business, no exceptions. So here they are: right quality, right quantity, right price, and right time. Seriously, think of these 4 rights as your go-to checklist. Before you spend a single dime, you need to make sure you can confidently check off every single one. So let's break them down. First up, right quality. And listen, this is super important. This is not about buying the fanciest, most expensive, top-of-the-line thing out there. Not at all. It's about something called fitness for purpose. Basically, does it do what your business needs it to do? And maybe even more importantly, does it meet the expectations of your customers? Okay, next on the list, right quantity. Oh man, this one is such a delicate balancing act. You know, if you buy way too much, all your cash is just tied up in stock that's collecting dust in a back room. But if you buy too little, you risk running out and having to tell customers, sorry, we're sold out. And nobody wants that. Then, of course, there's the right price. I like to think of this as a two-sided coin. On one side, it has to be a price your business can actually afford, without stretching yourself too thin. But on the other side, it's got to be low enough so you can add your markup and still make the profit you need to grow and thrive. It's got to work both ways. And the last of our 4 rights is right time. You've heard it before, timing is everything, and it's so true here. Buying your goods right when you need them means you're always ready for your customers, but you're not tying up your precious cash for any longer than you absolutely have to. Okay, so we've got those 4 core principles down. With those in mind, let's talk about what you're actually buying. That brings us right to section 2, what your business buys. You know, when you boil it down, pretty much every purchase you make is going to fall into one of these 3 buckets. It could be equipment, like a new sewing machine for your workshop. It could be raw materials, like the wood you need to build that furniture. Or it could be finished goods, like the pots and pans you buy to resell in your store. It all fits somewhere. Now let's talk about those big ticket items, like equipment. We're talking about a long-term and usually pretty expensive investment. So this is where you really need to pump the brakes a little bit and ask some serious questions. This is definitely not a casual add to cart kind of purchase. Before you even think about dropping a lot of money on something, you have to ask yourself some tough questions. Like, honestly, how much is this going to cost? Can my business really afford this right now? Could I maybe find a good second-hand option instead? And here's the big one. Will the extra profit I make from this thing actually be enough to pay for it? Being brutally honest with yourself here will tell you if this is a brilliant move or a huge mistake waiting to happen. Okay, so at this point, you know the principles, and you know what you need to buy. Now for the million-dollar question. Who are you buying it from? And that brings us perfectly to our next section where we get into the really practical stuff, how to find and work with the best suppliers. And this right here, this 8-step process, this is your roadmap. This is the core of smart buying, from start to finish. We're going to walk through these key stages, kicking off with how you actually research and pick out the best supplier for what you need. So how do you find these great suppliers? Well, you got to put on your detective hat. Seriously, this requires a little investigation. Don't just Google something and go with the first name that pops up. Talk to people in your network. Find out where your competitors are buying from. Check out small business organizations or trade journals. The goal here is to create a really solid list of potential partners. And this brings us to such a critical point. I really want you to remember this. The cheapest supplier is almost never the best supplier. Just think it through. What if their delivery is unreliable? That could mean lost sales for you. What if the quality is bad? That could totally tank your reputation. The best supplier is a real partner, someone who delivers true value, not just the lowest number on an invoice. All right, so you've done your homework, you've picked your supplier. Awesome. Now it's time to make it official. And that means we need to talk about paperwork, because getting this right protects both you and them. The first piece of paper you'll probably see is a quotation. Think of this as the supplier's formal written offer to you. And let me be clear, getting this in writing is absolutely non-negotiable. It's what prevents all those messy disagreements later on about prices or payment terms. Okay, so you've reviewed the quotation, everything looks good. Now you place your order, your written order. That's your side of the deal. It's your official request, your commitment. It confirms exactly what you need, and it acts as your proof of purchase. Pro tip, always keep a copy for your records. But hold on, we're not done yet. The process doesn't just end when you click send on that order. These next few steps are so critical. This is how you protect your investment and make sure you actually got what you paid for. So whatever you do not skip these. Okay, delivery day. When your stuff arrives, it's going to come with a delivery note. Now, before your pen even touches that paper to sign it, stop. Take a minute. Check everything. Is the quantity right? Is this the exact product you ordered? Is anything broken or damaged? Only after you've confirmed everything looks perfect, then you can sign it. Sometime after that, you'll get the invoice. This is the official bill, the formal request for payment. And your job here is simple but crucial. Check it. Check it carefully against your original order and against that delivery note you just signed. You're looking for any mistakes or discrepancies. Make sure it all lines up. And finally, the last step. After you pay, you get a receipt. This is your absolute, non-negotiable proof of payment. It officially closes the loop on the whole transaction, and just as importantly, it keeps your financial records clean, organized, and accurate. So there you have it. We've walked through the whole process, right from the four rights all the way to that final receipt. So I want you to take a second and really think about your own business. After hearing all this, what's the one thing, the single biggest opportunity you see to start buying smarter, starting tomorrow?